후지 스피드웨이에 왔습니다. 여기는 동문이고요. 저 2013년에도 여기 데미오 타고 왔는데 전문 다 닫혀 있었는데 한쪽 문만 열려서 그냥 쑥 들어온 적 있어요. 그냥 공짜로. 그러고 보면은 은근히 서킷 그냥 잘 들어오는. 예, 아침에 후지 스피드웨이에 도착을 했고요. 람보르기니들이 도열이 돼 있네요.
And welcome to the Lamborghini Esperienza. Welcome to the Fuji circuit. What we will do is would like to give you an overview about the two cars that you're going to drive in a minute, and then together with the head of instructor, you will go through the safety briefing in order to understand which are the rules of this test drive. But let me start first with one of the two cars that you're going to drive today. That is the Aventador S. The Aventador S is the evolution of the Aventador, and the way we improved the Aventador, that it was already a car that became a legend, is going through these three main pillars. So basically we work on the design, we work on around the engine, and also we improve the driving experience in order to give you a better driving experience. But let me start first of all with the design. We touch some parts of the design, as you can see from the side of the car, especially on the arch wheel and the air intake. That comes also takes the inspiration from our history, from the Countach. And also at both at the front and the rear, we enlarge, we make this, we stretch the line of the car, looking much more aggressive compared to the Aventador, and as you can see also at the back. And then you have also the new exhaust pipe that is now with the hexagon shape, that is also much more aggressive looking than before. And then the second pillar is the engine. So we add 40 horsepower to the engine. So now the car has 740 horsepower. So we have an higher torque compared to before at the high revs. So the car, the engine is much more responsiveness compared to before. The gearbox, we stick with the single clutch. This is the independent shifting rods. That is a technology that we developed in Sant'Agata. We stick with this clutch because we think that for the Aventador that's the best solution that you can have in terms of weight and in terms of dimension. And then the last pillar, but probably the most important, the driving experience, because it's really what we care when we develop a car. And in order to improve the driving experience, we work around four that we call four masterpieces. So the first is the four-wheel steering. For the first time in a production car, we introduced the four-wheel steering. That has different advantages at both at the low and at high speed. So it's much more agile when you are at low speed, perhaps in a city center. Or if you then go at the high speed, then the car becomes much more precise and increase definitely the stability, like perhaps you can experience in a circuit like we are today. Then the second pillar is the four-wheel drive, and together with a new set of tires that with Pirelli we developed specifically for this car. And basically we have now a new calibration for our four-wheel drive system, so that the car can go through a normal stability when you have 60% traction at the back and 40% at the front. So the car is really stability oriented, and then you can go through sport if you want to have a bit more fun. So then changing to sport, the traction goes to the back up to 90%, so giving you much more the feeling of a rear-wheel drive. And then if you look for performance, then you remove a little bit the traction at the front, because you need also grip at the front in order to give you the best performance. And this, as I told you, together with a new tire that we developed with Pirelli that is called New P0, and as you can see the yellow line is the new P0, and as you can see has been improved in all the single in each single aspect. Then the third pillar is the 4 driving modes. The Aventador was already equipped with 3 driving modes, but what we have done with the Aventador S, we added an additional driving mode. So not only we reshape or reset up the three different driving modes, Strada, Sport and Corsa, in order to give you a different behavior depending on what you're looking from the car, but now you also have a 4th driving mode that give you the possibility to customize the main element of the car, like the powertrain, the suspension and the steering. And you can reach up to 24 different combinations. Then the last pillar is the suspension. Very important element of the car because it's the link between the chassis and the surface on where you're driving, and we make this suspension active. So now you have a suspension that adapts to each condition or each surface on where you're driving, so it can be very soft in case you don't need, you are driving at low speed, perhaps in a city center, or can be really stiff if you are in a circuit like we are today. So, and this as a summary of the 4 masterpieces that are in a way controlled by the LDVA, that is, I would say, is Lamborghini Dinamica Veicolo Attiva, that is an Italian word that I can simplify as the brain of the car that control and harmonize all these 4 masterpieces in order to give you the best condition and depending on where you're driving. The Huracan Performante, that is the last version that we launched in the Huracan family. And we decided to call the car Performante, that in Italian means performance, because when we developed this car, we use a 360-degree approach to performance. And how we did it, with these 4 main elements that we're using lightweight materials, we work around the engine and the powertrain, and also the suspension and the chassis, and last but not least the aerodynamics of the car. But let me go through all these points. First of all, the lightweight material. We used a lot of forged composite on fiber put it together in a matrix. Is that not only is lighter than a normal piece of carbon fiber, but also allow you to reach complex geometry that we will see later on it's very important for the active aerodynamics that we developed for this car. And the use of this material, as you can see, is quite extensive to all the car, also the interior and exterior, as you see all the rear and also the front lips of the car. And thanks to this material, we were able to decrease the weight by 40 kilograms. Then the engine is a V10 natural aspirated engine. We were able to add 30 horsepower compared to the normal Huracan. And basically now we have 40 Newton-meter more in terms of maximum torque. And then, of course, let me say the responsiveness of the chassis, that is, we achieve it through the, let me say, the suspension, of course, and also the steering. And both of them are much more track-oriented, giving you much more racing feeling. And then the anima, so the control that you have in order to switch from the 3 different settings that you can have in terms of driving mode. So going from strada, that means street in Italian, that is more oriented to traction and stability. Then you can go to sport, that is more rear-wheel drive oriented, and then going to the last driving mode, that is corsa, that means race, and this definitely much more focused on performance. And then the last pillar, as I told you, is the active aerodynamics. We developed this aerodynamics that is developed by Lamborghini, patented by Lamborghini, and the advantage of having this system that we call ALA is that it works basically in 2 modes, on and off. And the advantage of this system is that it can give you the maximum of downforce when it's needed. So basically in a situation where perhaps you are braking before entering in a corner, or can, when it's off, can reduce as much as possible the drag of the car. So basically when you are on a straight lane, so that you don't need to have, you need to minimize the drag, so in order to give you a better performance. And this system can also work asymmetrically, creating this this effect that is called aerovectoring, that basically can work in two different modes on the right, in two different sides of the car. So one side of the car can be on and the other side can be off. This will give you the possibility, if you're turning on a right corner perhaps, giving you the better stability on the inner wheel, and helping you in turning much faster than a normal car. And as I told you, this system will give you the better, let me say, the best behavior of the car in every condition of the circuit. So here you see all the different, let me say, part of a circuit, in where you have the red in where you have you are braking, so you need the better stability of the car. So here the system is off, so the car has the maximum of the downforce, and then you have some area in where you need the full throttle, so you need to reduce the drag of the car, so basically the blue parts, and in this case the system is on, so eliminating as much as possible the downforce of the car. And then you have in some circumstances in where you are let me say, having a corner, perhaps all the red parts, and in this case the system as I told you, is off on the inner side of where you are turning, and is on the external side, so giving you a better, let me say, behavior of the car in order to be quicker on the corner. And this package of innovation and solution is giving you outstanding performance, like perhaps an acceleration from 0 to 100 in just 2.9 seconds, or a maximum speed of more than 325 kilometers an hour. But this for us was not enough, because with this car we want to give you a car that really can be the best driving emotion possible, that can give you really the best driving experience. And that's I would like to show you what we were able to do. New record at the Nürburgring circuit, and now at the top of the ranking we have the Performante, that is ahead of the other cars, not by tenths but by seconds. So this is an incredible result that you can obtain only if you have a car that really is able to put and to let them work together all the elements of the car. And this was possible on the Performante, and you will experience in a minute.
네, 아벤타도르 S 저기 다시 한번 타게 됐네요. 아, 이거 일본에 와서도 헬멧이 안 보여. 호주에 이어서 두 번째 타니까 좀 익숙하긴 하네요. 좀 전에 인스트럭터가 브레이크 정체를 살살 밟으라고 하는데 브레이크 상태가 안 좋은가 봐요. 지금 저기 브레이크 밸런스가 안 맞고 고속으로 달리고 잠깐 떠네요. 맞추기가 쉽지가 않네요.
물건도 파네요. 기념품들. 네, 결국엔 또 반팔티를 또 하나 샀네요. 5,500엔. 제 거 포장 중입니다.